Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our cozy corner of the internet. I am Jack, your guide through the wonderful world of English. I hope you have a warm cup of tea or coffee with you today because we are going to have a very relaxed and helpful chat.
And I am Emma. I definitely have my coffee, though I must admit I almost didn't make it out of bed today. The blankets were just too soft, and thinking about the future felt like too much work. But I am here, and I am ready to learn, even if my brain is still a little bit sleepy.
I am glad you made it, Emma. It is okay to have those slow mornings. Actually, your feeling about the future is perfect for today's topic. We are going to talk about how to discuss the future in English. It sounds technical, but it's really just about sharing our dreams, our plans, and sometimes our fears.
That sounds good, Jack. To be honest, the future always felt a bit scary to me in English class. Will, going to, present continuous. It feels like a lot of math. Can we make it feel less like a test and more like a conversation?
That is exactly the plan. We're going to break it down so it feels natural. We'll talk about how to say what you're doing tomorrow, what you hope for in 10 years, and how to handle it when you aren't 100% sure what will happen.
I like the sound of that, especially the part about not being sure. I'm rarely sure about anything. I usually just say maybe and hope for the best. Is there a better way to do that without sounding like I'm totally lost?
There definitely is. And for everyone listening, please stay with us until the very end of this episode. We have a special segment planned where we take the most difficult words and phrases from our chat and explain them simply. It's our vocabulary breakdown, and it's the best way to make sure you actually remember what you hear today.
Yes, don't leave early. You don't want to miss that. I usually need the breakdown more than anyone. I tend to use big words incorrectly and then feel a bit embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed, Emma. Making mistakes is just a sign that you're trying. In fact, we might use some more advanced words today, but I'll be here to catch them. We want this to be a safe space for your ears and your mind.
A safe space. I love that. So, where do we start? Do we start with the will and the going to stuff, or can we just talk about what we are doing for dinner tonight?
Let's start with the basics of how our daily lives look when we look forward. We're going to dive deep into how to separate a solid plan from a random thought. It's going to be very helpful for your daily conversations. Let's jump right in then. You mentioned dinner tonight, Emma. That is the perfect place to start. When we talk about the future, we aren't always talking about 5 years from now. Sometimes we are just talking about 5 hours from now.
Exactly. And usually my plan for 5 hours from now is just eating. But if a friend asks me, "What are you doing tonight?" I sometimes freeze. I think, should I say I will eat or I am going to eat? It feels like a big decision for such a small sandwich.
I understand that feeling. Think of it like this. Your future plans are like a house. If you have already bought the wood and the bricks, the house is going to happen. It is a plan you made before the conversation. For example, if you bought chicken at the store this morning, you would say, I am going to cook chicken tonight.
Oh, that makes sense. So, because I already bought the food, it's a plan. It's like the going to is a bridge that connects what I decided earlier to the actual future. But what if I just decided right now? Like if I see a pizza commercial on TV and suddenly want pizza?
Great question. That is when we use will. We use will for those light bulb moments. You see the pizza, you get hungry, and you say, I think I will order a pizza. It's a decision you made in the blink of an eye.
A light bulb moment. I like that image. It's like will is a spark and going to is a slow burning fire that was already started. I remember when I tried to organize a picnic last summer. I told everyone, we are going to meet at the park at noon. I used going to because I had already checked the weather and packed my basket.
Perfect example, Emma. And what happened at the picnic? Did it go well?
Well, it started to rain suddenly, so I looked at my friends and said, I'll grab the umbrellas. I didn't plan for the rain, so the decision to get the umbrellas was a will moment.
You are a natural at this. You see, using the future tense is really just about sharing the story of your decision. Was it a story that started a long time ago or a story that started just now?
That makes it feel much less like a grammar rule and more like a feeling. But Jack, I sometimes hear people using the ing words for the future too, like, I am meeting him at 6. That confuses me. Is that different from going to?
It is very similar, but we usually use the present continuous, the ing form, for fixed arrangements. Think of it like your calendar. If it is written in your diary with a specific time and a specific person, ing is very common. It's even stronger than a plan. It's an appointment.
So, I am going to see a doctor sounds like I have a health goal, but I am seeing the doctor at 4 p.m. sounds like I actually called the office and have a seat waiting for me.
Exactly. Learning these differences is like painting a picture. You're adding different colors to show exactly what you mean. However, I have to be honest with you, Emma. In casual conversation, if you mix them up, people will still understand you perfectly. You don't have to be perfect to be understood.
That is a relief to hear. Sometimes I get so worried about being perfect that I just stop talking. I get this feeling of being overwhelmed by all the choices.
Wait, what does overwhelmed mean?
Oh, it means when you have too much of something, like too many emotions or too many chores, and you feel like you can't breathe or think clearly. It's like being under a big wave of water.
That is a beautiful and sad description. I think many learners feel overwhelmed by the future tense because English has so many ways to say the same thing. But remember, the goal isn't to be a walking textbook. The goal is to connect with people.
I try to remember that. It's like learning to ride a bike. At first, you think about your feet, the wheels, and the handle, but eventually you just want to go to the park and see your friends. The bike is just the tool.
Exactly. Language is the tool to get you to the park of conversation. Another way to think about the future is using will for predictions. You know, when we guess what might happen. Like, I think it will be a beautiful day tomorrow.
I do that a lot, but I'm usually wrong. I'll say, I think I will wake up early tomorrow and exercise, and then I hit the snooze button 10 times. Is that still a prediction?
Yes, that is a prediction, or maybe a hopeful dream. When we talk about things we cannot control, like the weather or the way the world changes, will is our best friend. It's less about a plan and more about a vision in our heads.
So if I say the robots will take over the world, that is a prediction. But if I say I'm going to build a robot, that's a plan.
Spot on. You're building the future house with those sentences. One is just looking at the sky, and the other is picking up the tools.
It's interesting how we talk about these rules, but we haven't really talked about how the future makes us feel. For many of us, talking about what is coming next can be quite heavy.
Oh, absolutely. To be honest, Jack, even talking about next week makes my heart beat a little faster. I often feel a lot of pressure to have a big plan. When people ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I just want to hide under my bed. I feel like I need to use the most confident English, like, I will be a manager. But inside, I'm thinking, I hope I am still eating pizza and staying happy.
That is such a vulnerable thing to share, Emma. Thank you. And you aren't alone. Many learners feel that if they don't have a clear plan, their English sounds weak. They think they must use I am going to for everything to sound like they have their life together. But the truth is, life is messy.
It is. I remember last month I was trying to explain my career goals to a friend. I kept saying, I will, maybe, I am going to, and then I just stopped. I felt like a failure because I couldn't even finish a sentence about my own life. I felt, what's the word, inevitably? No, that's not right.
You mean you felt that failure was inevitable?
Wait, what does inevitable mean?
It means something that is certain to happen. Like if you drop a glass, it is inevitable that it will hit the floor.
Yes, I felt like it was inevitable that I would make a mistake. I was so worried about the perfect future tense that I forgot to just be honest.
That is the psychology of language learning. We think the grammar is the boss of us. But Emma, the grammar is just a servant. If you are feeling uncertain, it is okay to use uncertain language. You can say, I might, or I'm thinking of, or I hope to. These are all ways to talk about the future without the pressure of being a fortune teller.
Fortune teller. I like that. I don't have a crystal ball. I should tell my friends that. I don't have a crystal ball, so I might just go to the cinema tomorrow, but I might also just sleep.
Exactly. Using might or may is a great way to lower your stress. It tells the listener, hey, I'm thinking about this, but don't hold me to it. It's much more relaxing than saying, I am going to, which feels like a promise you can't break.
That makes me feel so much better. I think I've been putting too much weight on my words. I thought that if I said, I am going to exercise every day, and then I didn't do it, I was lying to the English language.
The English language forgives you, Emma. We all change our minds. The most important thing is to have the confidence to speak, even if the future you are describing changes 10 minutes later. Progress isn't about being a robot who never changes a plan. Progress is being able to describe that change.
You're right. I need to be more patient with myself. Sometimes I see other students who sound so sure of themselves. They say, I will pass the exam, and I am moving to London. I compare my maybes to their wills, and I feel small.
But remember, those students might be just as nervous as you are. They are just using a different tool from the toolbox. Your maybe is just as grammatically correct as their will. In fact, being able to express doubt and nuance is actually a sign of a very good speaker.
Really? So my hesitation isn't just a mistake?
Not at all. It shows you understand that the future is a big, open space. Jack and I, well, just Jack here, I want to tell you that it's okay to be a B1 learner in your life plans, too. You don't need a C1 life to speak B1 English.
That is so deep, Jack. I think I need to sit with that for a second. It's okay to have a work-in-progress life.
Precisely. We are all just drafts of a book that is still being written. The future tense is just the pencil we use to sketch the next chapter. If we need to erase it and try again, we can.
I think we have covered a lot of ground today, and I hope everyone listening is feeling a bit more relaxed. But now, we want to hear from you. We love making this a two-way conversation.
Yes, I love reading the comments. It makes me feel like I'm not just talking to a microphone in my pajamas. So here's a question for all of you. It's an A, B, or C choice about your future.
Are you ready? Here it is. Imagine you have a completely free day tomorrow. What is your future looking like? A, I am going to be very productive. I will clean the house and study English for 3 hours. B, I am seeing a friend for coffee or going to the cinema. I have a plan. C, I will probably stay in bed and see what happens. I have no plans at all.
Oh, I am definitely a C person, but I usually tell people I am an A person because I want to sound fancy. Please be honest in the comments. Tell us if you are A, B, or C. There's no wrong answer in our cozy community.
While you think about that and type your answer, let's quickly recap what we talked about. We learned that going to is for those plans we already made, the bricks for our future house. We use will for quick decisions, like a light bulb turning on, or for guessing what the weather might be like.
And don't forget the ing words. We use the present continuous when something is actually on the calendar, like a lunch date or a doctor's visit. It's the strongest kind of future.
Exactly. And most importantly, we talked about how it is okay to feel a bit scared or unsure. You don't have to be a master of the future to talk about it. Using words like maybe, might, or hope is perfectly fine.
That was my favorite part. It's like giving myself permission to be human. I don't have to be a grammar robot. I just have to be Emma.
And you are doing a great job at being Emma. For everyone listening, please remember that your progress in English is a journey. Some days you will feel like you are flying, and other days you might feel like you are walking through mud. Both are okay. The only way to fail is to stop moving.
That's so true, Jack. I feel a lot more confident now. I think I'm going to try using will and going to more often this week without worrying if I'm 100% right.
That's the spirit. Now, we are almost at the end of our episode, but before we go, we have one more very important part. It's time to move from the big ideas into the specific words that will help you sound even better.
Yes, it's time for my favorite part because it helps my brain organize everything. Let's head over to the vocabulary breakdown.
It is time for the vocabulary breakdown. This is the part where we look at the heavy words we use today and make them light and easy to carry.
I am ready. I have my notebook out. Today we use some words that made me stop and think, and I want to make sure I can use them myself when I'm talking to my friends.
Let's start with a word you used, Emma. Overwhelmed.
Right. To be overwhelmed means to feel like you have too much of something to handle. If you have 10 different English grammar books to study in one night, you feel overwhelmed. It's like a big wave of too much crashing over you.
Exactly. An example sentence would be, I felt overwhelmed by the number of choices on the restaurant menu.
Our second word is one you introduced, Jack. Inevitable.
Inevitable means something is certain to happen. You cannot stop it. For example, if you don't study at all, it is inevitable that the exam will be difficult. It's something that will happen no matter what you do.
I hope it's not inevitable that I will be sleepy every morning. Our third word is technical.
When we say something is technical, we mean it relates to the small, specific rules or the way a machine or system works. Sometimes grammar feels very technical, like a car engine. But remember, you don't need to be a mechanic to drive the car.
That is a great way to put it. Now, what about the word vulnerable? You said I was being vulnerable earlier.
To be vulnerable means to be open about your feelings or your weaknesses. It's when you show the real you, even the parts that aren't perfect. For example, Emma was being vulnerable when she admitted she was scared of the future. It is a very brave thing to be.
I like that. It makes me feel strong instead of weak. Next is arrangement.
An arrangement is a plan you have made with another person. It's more than just a thought in your head. If you have a lunch date with a friend at 1 p.m., that is an arrangement. You would say, I have an arrangement to meet my sister later.
And our last one for today is nuance. You said that using maybe shows I understand nuance.
Nuance refers to small, subtle differences in meaning or feeling. In English, choosing between will and might is a nuance. It's a tiny change that shows how sure you are. Understanding nuance makes your English sound very advanced and natural.
Overwhelmed, inevitable, technical, vulnerable, arrangement, and nuance. Wow, we really did use some big words today. I feel smarter already.
You should. You're doing the work, Emma, and so is everyone listening. That brings us to the end of our episode. Thank you so much for spending your time with us in our cozy corner.
Thank you, guys. Remember, your progress doesn't end here. It's okay if your future is a bit maybe right now. Just keep talking and keep being you.
We will see you in the next episode. Happy learning!
Bye-bye.